Welcome back to Rock That Resume. This is the final part of the presentation about how to create a great resume for your job and career search. This is for Linfield College IDST 052 Career Planning and Preparation and presented by Donna Montoya. So now that we went over how to set up a great resume, the top part of your resume, we are ready to look at the experience section. So the experience section can actually be broken into different types of experience, and I suggest never actually calling it work experience, which implies that it has been paid. Great experience might be volunteer, internship, that type of thing, and so those should be incorporated into your experience sections and not have to go at the bottom of the resume in something that says other or community involvement if they're very related to the job you're applying for. So some examples might be program management experience or teaching related experience. In this example, this person looks like they're applying to something that's administrative. So they are breaking out their experience into sections. The first section is called administrative experience. So everything that they would want to put on their any experience section for their resume, if it has to do with administration, it will be under this section. Other types of experiences might be called other related experience or customer service experience, and those would go under another experience section. So the dates of the experience do need to be included, and just like for your education, I suggest putting them on the right-hand side of the page. It opens up the page, and it allows the person to scan through dates if that's important to them. Also, really the most important part of your experience is probably the title or where you worked, and dates are just fluff if you were to put them with those other titles. So dates go from most recent, then backwards chronologically under each experience heading. So starting with administrative experience, this is what the person is currently doing. If their next furthest back experience, so the next one, their most prior recent experience is in another section, that would be at the top of that section. And so, like we said, dates go on the right-hand side. The reason we do backwards chronological is because normally the most important piece of experience that you have is going to be the most recent, because that's where you've grown into, you got new skills, you've been developing everything from your past experiences. So you want to begin your descriptions using action verbs for your bullet points. So as you see, we start with the title of the position, and then under that the company, city, state, and then it goes the descriptions of what you did. These are really based on achievements, skills that you use. They're very action-based. If you're currently in the position, it should be in present tense. And if it was a previous position, you would put them in past tense. So currently this person is coordinating office administration. Coordinate all office administration. If it were past tense, it would be coordinated. No pronouns should be used for your resumes, and so this is part of resume grammar, and it's because it's a truncated version of how you would actually talk, because the most important parts are the actions and the examples and not the pronouns. So you wouldn't say I coordinate all office administration, but it's a great way to make sure that you're setting it up right. So pretend that the bullet point is an I, and if that reads like a complete sentence, then it's set up right. For example, if I wrote, instead of facilitate, I said facilitating fundraising efforts, it would read I facilitating fundraising efforts. That's not grammatically correct. That's why we use facilitate. Be aware of focusing too much on just the tasks of your position, and focus on the things that make you a better candidate for the position you want. So one of the great things about titling your experiences into different sections is that you can really write your bullet points all to back up why it's under that section. So if you have an administrative experience section, all of your bullet points really should back that up. If you then have a customer service or accounting or finance related section, all of your bullet points for those experiences, those jobs, should back up to that section. It's a great way to spot check yourself to make sure you're on target. It's another way to make sure that you're not just talking about tasks. So in this example, this person had relevant experience as an assistant, and they did really great things like customer service and answering phones and database management. You can't really tell from the writing that they put down here. Answer phones. Well, that's great. my 2.5-year-old answers phones and he thinks he's really good at that. I'm guessing that you answered phones in a very professional manner. You knew how to manage multi-lines. You knew how to talk customers through details and problems, how to transfer over to the appropriate person, etc. Those are more accomplishment-based examples than these task-based examples. And so for you in your resume packet that you have provided for you, you will see that there's a great example of the resume and then also a list of top 10 skills that all employers want. And this goes across the board. You'll see that most of them are soft skills. The very last one is technical. And that kind of goes back to that flower exercise of the knowledge and technical skills that you might need for a job. But this is a great way to make sure that you're integrating these types of skills into your resume. The other thing that you want to do is look through the job description and highlight or make a note of everything that they need you to be able to do well and pepper it through your resume. It's another way to focus on what they need. And remember, this final product for them is aimed at them. It's aimed at the person making a decision to move you on to an interview round. So the information they're looking for is going to really highly coordinate with the information that they put on the job description. We also have in the back of your packet a couple pages of really great action phrases that can help jog your memory on what you did and some nice ways to phrase what you may have done. So after your experience section, you may have some additional sections, and this can be something like activities and community involvement. There may be research, special research that you did, etc. That is great. It shows that you're a well-rounded person, that you have qualities that make you personable or interesting, because at the end of the day, we are all people working with people. So it is important to show that part of yourself. Use the same rules in this section as you would for your more work or professional experience sections. So you still want to make it relevant and action-oriented. You can see on this example. So other additional sections could include activities or community involvement, but they could include a lot of other things, and this is just a list of examples that might help spark your interest or jog your memory of why you may be great for the role that you're applying for. So that is the end of our 3-part Rock That Resume presentation. We went through it really quickly. It's a lot easier to talk about it than to do it. So that is part of the class assignment, is to create your draft resume. Make sure that you have an actual job description attached with this resume, because it is important to tailor every resume to the actual job that you are applying for. When I work with a lot of students and professionals, one of the concerns is, I'm going to have to rewrite a resume every time I apply for a job. Well, yes and no. Sometimes you're going to be applying for a job that's very similar for a job you previously applied for. It's adapting and tailoring. And even if you have a couple different industry interests or job functions, at some point you're going to get to the point where you can just go back to a resume that's fairly similar and adjust it for what that employer is looking for and any extra experience that you've gained. So this is a good way to practice that tailoring and all of that resume information that you just learned. Thank you.